hear from Evelyn Gooden. I said Goodman, but it's not Goodman, it's Gooden. But anyway, she's with MafiaDesigns, and she's gonna talk to us about social media and advertising, so. Woo.
Get all my stuff up here, sorry. Okay, and bear with me, I brought notes because, you know, I have my cheat sheet with me sometimes. Okay, so again, my name is Evelyn. I own MafiaDesigns, so we are a full service marketing and advertising company. But we kind of do things a little differently, and that's kind of the stuff that I want to talk to you guys about today. So I have spent all of my education, I studied at Missouri Southern for graphic design and marketing. And then I also actually grew up, my parents are graphic designers, they have a vinyl shop. So I kind of grew up in the sign world, if you will, as far as that kind of goes. But I also have a passion for social media, which I'm 26, I'm sure it's not a shock to anyone. But with that, I also love photography, and kind of my hobbies that I've had kind of tend to have driven me to opening MafiaDesigns. And kind of what I've coined the term is, my business is your business, but everyone's business is nothing without their why, right? And this is where y'all can go, aw, because my baby's adorable. But she is 90% of my why. So I wanted, and I told everybody my goal was to open my own business so that I have the flexibility. I do think sometimes when you own your own business, you work more than when you have a standard job. But I wanted to be able to have something that I was passionate about, that I could do wherever, whenever, and still be able to be a big part in my kiddo's life and with my family. The other thing I do is I do have a hobby. What actually got me into social media marketing was about 3 years ago, I started building my personal show truck. I travel all over the 4-state area doing shows and stuff like that. How many of you guys have seen and possibly even giggled at the people driving around with Instagram handles on their vehicles? Yep, so there's a reason. So what we do is, the reason for those is because we actually get sponsors on those builds. So I would say probably 75% of my truck is sponsored because I have a heavy amount of traffic and followers on my social media just for my truck. So I started noticing that by doing that, I was almost turning into a coach for some people that I know in the world of show vehicles. And I started thinking, you know, this is something that I could do full time. I could do this as a business, right? The excitement of watching somebody go from 100 followers to a couple months later having 1,000 and getting their first sponsorship was super cool to me, super fun. And that's kind of really what led me that. And a few months ago, my friends and family, I was kind of telling somebody earlier, I kind of got cornered at cruise night on Maine. I felt like it was an intervention, but they said, you have to do this full time. Like, don't just limit yourself to this, just helping us out. Go out, open your business. We've got your backs on that. So having that support system was really cool for me. So MafiaDesigns, again, is a full service advertising company. My main focuses right now are graphic design services. We also do brand development and digital marketing. So whenever we do your graphic design, that includes just about anything you could think of that your logo is involved with. Business cards, flyers, promotional items, apparel if you need polos or jackets or shirts or something for your employees or your staff. That also includes your logo creation, which also leads us then into brand development. So I actually will help you, we'll sit down, we'll develop your digital marketing or just your marketing strategy in general. We'll actually work with you to kind of do your market research, see what could set you apart from similar companies in that industry. And we'll also look at your launch assistance. I love events. I love planning events. It's a huge thing that I do, that I love to do. So we actually can help with grand openings. We can help with launches on your social media, with live videos, that kind of stuff to really get your name out there as a new company or as a new brand. And then of course with my photography stuff, we also do photography and imagery too, making sure that you have staff photos. If you have a new office, if you have a new doctor's office, for example, we can go and get you really high quality, nice images of your new office with maybe you've got it freshly painted or fresh images up on the walls that you want that we've taken or given to you, so you can have some personal touches into that. And of course, digital marketing. I do digital marketing coaching, so we'll talk about the social media management in a second, but if you don't want somebody to come in and manage your social media, I'll actually do coaching with you too, where we can just meet up or have a phone call however often you want. Usually we do it once a month, sometimes we do it more than that. But what that is it's me helping you set up that strategy for your digital marketing, and then helping you actually advance into that and making sure it's successful for you. But you get the privilege of being able to do all your posts and doing all that stuff for you. That also includes your page design, whether that's landing pages. Right now we're not doing full websites. I do have great contacts that I refer out for really in-depth full websites, but landing pages, simple stuff like that, just beginning stuff we can do. We also work on your audience targeting, making sure you know who your audience really is, make sure you're doing stuff that's actually gonna target that audience. And of course we can write blogs too and help you post those, because that is a huge impact on your SEO for your blogs and that kind of stuff for backlinks. Now my big bread and butter is social media management. This is really what we're all about. How many of you guys have a Facebook page? How many of you have Instagram? Right. How many of you follow at least 3 other businesses on those social media platforms? Exactly. If you're like me, I follow like 200, it's insane. But what we do is our goal is to make sure you have the best social media content, best social media strategy you can have, because according to the Digital Marketing Institute, there's over 81% of marketers that actually say content is the best business strategy for building your clientele base. So what we do is we compile your campaigns. We say, hey, here's what you should post, when you should post it, how you should post it. We also can create your content, and I'll show you some examples of that in a moment. What we do by that is we make sure it's all branded, it looks the same, it matches, it flows really well, it gets the idea of your marketing and brand out. We also help support your brand, and we actually can save you time and money. So if you think about it, hiring somebody as a subscription-based manager can actually be significantly cheaper, as in thousands of dollars a month and year, than hiring somebody in-house as an hourly employee to do your marketing, who then gets distracted by having to cover a register, or having to go do this, or having to go do that. We can actually have somebody that specifically focuses to your social media and growing that content for you. So here is one of my clients. I try not to share clients' names or businesses unless I get that permission to, but Jason with We Are Warriors is one that I do his social media marketing that I got approval for. This is just a few examples of the content that we've created over the last month. Of course, it's kind of hard to read whenever you're sitting not on a screen, but we've got that very far corner is a review that somebody left for his apparel company. We've got some motivational quotes, something fun for National Pet Day, his free shipping that he's doing. The main thing that we focus on when we're developing content is your brand. You'll notice it's all colored the same. It all kind of has that same vibe. His whole goal for his brand is, if you kind of look through his social media and his website, is nobody fights alone. So everyone's a warrior, whether you're fighting an internal battle or an external battle, nobody's by themselves. So we do a lot of motivation, we do a lot of inspiration, we do that kind of stuff. But ideally we use images of his actual brand, with his Viking helmet, with his new We Are Warriors WAW logo, that kind of stuff. So whenever you're looking through Facebook, it looks different. Doesn't look like a robot's posting it, but it still actually matches and looks nice when people, for example, on Instagram, it looks uniform, it looks like it all goes together. So these are some examples of results that we've gotten. I just pulled these numbers a couple of weeks ago. So they're pretty fresh. So you guys can see our Instagram client reached over 13,000 accounts. We engaged over 750. So what that means is that's actually people that engage with their posts or their profile on Instagram. So that is a roughly 30 days. I think I was like a week short of 30 days when I was actually pulling these numbers for their actual report. But then our second client, you can see their Facebook page reached, we were at 5% and we reached over 2,100 people. So you can imagine if you get, now what we look at is if you can get those 2,100 people to then follow and then ideally call, right? So you can get a phone call, 99% chance you're gonna get that client out of it. So the main reason that we do this, or how we do this, I should say, is we do your post scheduling. So we make sure the stuff is posted at the right time for you. And then we also go through what I call, or what marketing companies call, the buyer's process on that. So what that is it's the awareness stage, consideration stage, and the decision stage. So we post content that actually adheres to each of those stages, so that you're not only addressing somebody in the awareness stage that really doesn't know what the name of their problem is, they just know, I have a problem, I need a solution. We're catering to people in every stage as far as that goes. Now, the benefits. Other than saving you money, we can save you time. So what we do is we let you actually focus on running your company rather than having to focus on your Facebook. So you, in a way, are paying us to essentially play on your social media pages, but we're doing it to show you that you can get results out of it and you don't have to mess with it. We also have the knowledge, so I stay up to date on the trends and channels. Of course, I'm always working to build my personal pages so that I can then, of course, get my bigger sponsors and do stuff like that. So I always try to keep up to date on the trending sounds on TikTok, on the trending hashtags, that kind of stuff. That way I can also use those for your industry, whether it's real estate, automotive, construction, roofing, whatever you may be having. We also have the real-time demands benefit to you, whereas we can actually give you real-time responses to comments, real-time responses to reviews. Obviously, you're still in control, so you can still look at those, you can respond to them if you would like, or we can also take that off your plate for you, even if it's just a quick, hey, thanks for your review, glad we could help you out. Just something to show that your company is acknowledging that stuff. And then endurance as well. We are committed to making sure that we try not to have any big gaps in your social media. Now, that being said, algorithm-wise, occasionally there's a day that we don't want to post anything just to give a break so you're not flooding your followers' social media, but we try to make sure you have a consistent appearance on people's stuff to at least keep you in the front part of their brain. Okay. So the main thing that I'm looking for, I have only been open right at about 60 days. So I've got several years experience, but right now what I am looking for are businesses that really need to build their brand, so new businesses. I am myself a new business, so I'm looking to help other new businesses build their brand, build their logo at an affordable cost, and be able to launch that business successfully. The other thing that we're doing, I'm looking for owner-operators that can't afford to not be on social media, but also can't afford to take time away from their businesses either. So those of you that own a business, you're self-employed, that kind of stuff, you have employees to keep track of, let me take the social media and advertising aspect off of your plate so that you can actually focus on running your business day to day. The main thing that makes me different, one is I'm super personable. If you can't tell, I had a picture of my kid in my truck on here. But my goal is to learn about your business. I've got a couple of clients in this room today. I try to know as much about your business that you do. That way I can create the best content, right? I do have a background not only in design and social media, but I have an automotive background and I have a background in property management and real estate as well. So those are industries I know really well, but you know, I'm learning about financial independence, for example, for stuff like that. You're welcome, throw that in there. But I'm learning kind of about your other industries and other businesses. That way I can help promote that as best I can. My goal is for people to not tell that someone else is posting on your page. My goal is for your followers to look at you and say, hey, I saw that post you made, that's super awesome, and for you to go, yeah, I totally made that, okay. But I don't want people to make it appear that you're having a third party do this. The whole goal is for it to draw attention to you, right? And then of course we keep you updated. I'm easy to contact, you can call me, text me. I have a couple clients that message me on Facebook, totally fine. But what I like to do is I like to at least have one solid conversation with you a month, minimum. And what that is that's going over your analytics. It's going over what works, what doesn't work, what we need to introduce, what we need to take away and not waste time or money on. Kind of coaching you through those steps, but also going over what we want to go over the next month as far as posting. So the way I do that is I try to, some of my clients aren't as worried about it, but what I try to do is, at least for my own sake, have a handwritten version of all the posts that I'm gonna make for you the next month. If you want it in a spreadsheet form, I have a spreadsheet that I can email you once a month. You look at it, you tell me, yeah, looks great, go for it, or no, I wanna change it. It even breaks it down to what pictures I'm gonna post, what the words are gonna be, what the links are gonna be. That way you literally see a rough draft of what your social media is gonna look like the next month. It's even color coded because I'm super organized like that. But the main thing I try to tell everybody is, although I take the responsibility off of you, I don't take your business off of you. So you're still in control. You still have access to all your social media pages. You still have access if you see something really cool in Joplin, or you come to an event like this and you want to take a quick picture and post it on your social media, by all means. My goal is to make sure that I'm scheduling posts at the most optimal times to just benefit whatever else you want to post or look at or do anything like that. So I do have a third-party posting system that I can do posts with, but what I find that a lot of clients prefer is I just have access to their business pages or personal pages, because I do have a couple that we post on my personal stuff. And then we just do those posts for that, but obviously I don't change anything or edit or anything like that. That's all up to you to fix on those fronts. Okay, so looking to the future, because again, I'm a baby company, so I always want to build. Right now, my struggles that I'm having are trying to find the best pricing. So I'm also looking at a few products that I've made that I'm looking at opening an online store. A lot of those do have to do with the automotive world and show boards and that kind of stuff, but we're also looking at some apparel items as well to start offering. But I'm trying to find the best price point on some of that stuff, and also the best price point on my time for my subscription-based services for the social media stuff, as well as the coaching, because that's by the hour. So that's kind of been one thing I kind of had to tweak a little bit. Right now I'm pretty happy with how my pricing is. I'm very transparent, it's all on my website. But that's one thing that I kind of struggle with, is trying to find the happy medium on that. Another issue that I'm having is showing that I am an expert on this stuff as far as talking to clients. So I'm young, I've only been open a couple months, but showing that I have these resources, I've had this education, I've had the success with my own pages. I try not to use my own numbers on those because I feel like it looks a little one-sided. It looks like I'm trying to push my own thing, so I try to use clients' numbers without sharing the client name. But sometimes it is nice to show that, hey, I do know what I'm doing. Here's what I've been doing for the last 3 years for a truck. I just hit 10,000 followers for my truck. So we started that 2 Christmases ago when my Instagram actually started. So showing that I'm an expert has kind of been a struggle with that, and showing that people can trust me to do this kind of stuff for them. And then I am looking for vendor partners. Like I said, we do promotional items, we do apparel, especially these new products that I'm wanting to kind of launch in the next 6 months to 8 months. I'm trying to find partners that are local, so I don't have to outsource from online sites anymore. So anybody that has recommendations on who I can talk to for kind of vendors and kind of that kind of stuff, for wholesale stuff, I'd really appreciate it, because I need to find some local places. As far as benefits or help from you guys and other people that I network with, referrals are a huge thing for me. I don't want my business based on empty, I don't want to say empty clients, but empty ads, just posting and doing all that stuff. I want my business built on referrals that people actually share and say, hey, this is a post from MafiaDesigns. This girl presented at 1 Million Cups. I've talked to her a couple times. She's awesome. Give her a shout. Don't know much more about her stuff, but here she is. I would say check her out a little bit. So referrals, word of mouth is something I'm really trying to build off of. And then I also, anybody that can of course follow us or sign up for our newsletter via our website, super helpful. I try not to push my business through the newsletters. I try to send helpful information. So here's tips on how to write a blog that's gonna get read, not just ignored. Here's tips on how to build your brand in 2022 and make it strong. Here's what you should post at what times. That kind of thing. That way it's informative without me being, hey, buy my services, and just keep poking the bear on that kind of thing. And then really the other thing, it kind of goes back to referrals, is I love meeting with people. Those of you that have met me in person, I'm pretty personable. I enjoy just chit-chatting and learning about other businesses, even if that's grabbing lunch, grabbing coffee, just meeting for a couple minutes and talking to each other. Anybody that is willing to do that, I'd love to learn about your business, and also vice versa on that. Okay. Sorry if I kind of rushed through that.
Good job. All right, who has a question?
I can start. So one thing that I would say, I mean, I think it's awesome. I think you've done a great job. You're hustling, and it's great. This is my personal opinion. Something maybe you should think about is that if I hired you, I have no interest at all in you becoming an expert in mortgage loans and then creating content for me. I'm not interested in that. I don't think that that portion of your business is scalable. And so saying that you want to become an industry expert in every industry that you hire on, I would challenge you to pivot and change that perspective. What I think that you should do is that let me create the actual content. So video is powerful. I'm the expert. You will never know more about mortgage loans than me. That's just how it is. And you'll never know more about insurance than John. And you'll never know more about personal finance than Joseph. And that's how it is. And so what I need instead is not for you to become a mortgage expert. What I need is for you to build out a program around the content that I create and then hold me accountable.
Right.
So I want you to tell me, hey, Friday the video is due on this topic in mortgage. I need you to make that. I need you to get that to me. And that is where the value is. It's not so much you learning about mortgage and putting stuff out there. And then you get a video from me, we sit down, we create a plan of how we're gonna release content, what we're gonna talk about in mortgage, and then you hold me accountable every week to sit down and make that video. And I know that I'm paying you, and if I don't make the video, then I'm wasting money on you because you don't have what you need to do your job.
Right.
From there, use the video to create the content. So pull out quotes, pull out one-liners, and create your content off of that. But let your partners and people that hire you create their own content and let them be the expert. I think you're just gonna waste a lot of time trying to learn all of these different industries.
So, and I might have misspoke. So I want people to see me as an expert on social media. I definitely know that I'm never gonna be an expert on anyone's personal industries. What I mean by that is I'm going to, most of my clients I have zero desire to create their own content. In fact, 90% of them have told me, I don't even care, just post it, I don't want anything to do with it. So what I have to do on that is by using that spreadsheet, I create the content and then they approve it to make sure it's correct, make sure that, because I won't know anything expert-wise about it. But I want to make sure that as far as the social media aspect of it goes, is people do see that I know kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to social media and what you should do, but as far as what's actually being posted and stuff, then you're absolutely right. The information does come from the client themselves for sure.
And Skylar, I can second that. Just working with Evelyn, we've been working together for now the last 2 months. And
My first client.
yeah, hey, look at that, you know. But I want to tell you how easy it is to work with Evelyn. Skylar, to your point, when we actually did our first initial meeting, she came with a schedule of what she was going to post, what topics or what things were there. But she pulled a lot of stuff from videos and some materials that I've given her. And then, you know, it's a learning process too. If there's something that's there or a post that goes out that's not necessarily there, like there was a post about getting involved with Bitcoin. I'm highly regulated with my licensing. I can't talk about Bitcoin on social media. So we had that conversation and said, hey, here are some of the topics that I need to stay away from. Hey, should we do videos? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's been a phenomenal resource. So I think it's been fantastic. So I really appreciate it.
So to the point where you were talking about how they, you know, a lot of your clients, they don't care, they don't want to know, they don't want to touch it. I would encourage you, as being the expert that you are, I know that through talking with several people in this room, they are very passionate about what they do, just like you do. But their passion then is education. And they educate their clients on their passion and why. And so I would really encourage you to help your clients or prospective clients really understand why they need to care.
Yeah.
And why it matters. Because the more that you invest in them with that knowledge, the more invested they're going to be in seeing your worth and your value. And with your pricing, and when they see things, because things will continue to go up, and as you see your value, you're going to want to get paid for that value. So you need to make sure you're expressing a lot of that value to them and helping them really become a lot more involved in the understanding that they have to, it's not just about posting.
Right.
It's about posting the correct content, but they've got to be able to get that to you, but they have to invest in it too.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I know I'm sure you know all of that too, but, so I would just really encourage you to make sure that when you have clients that say, I really just don't care, like just figure it out and do it, is spend some time investing slowly, because sometimes you're gonna have to build that value, but make sure that you are always educating your clients on why they need to care.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I agree with that for sure.
I'll ask a question. Good presentation, Evelyn. Thank you for being here. You spoke mostly just about what you're doing for people, like social media wise. Will you talk about some of the other things that you are doing with people? You briefly touched on it, but I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about it.
So one thing that I really have started getting a lot of interest in is apparel. So people wanting polos for their staff. I do a lot of work with realtors. I know a lot of the realtors over at Keller, so I do a lot of stuff with KW and that kind of stuff. But a lot of them want polos that have like their logo with the KW logo on them. So what I'm doing a lot of is getting their polos embroidered, making sure that their logo is going to embroider well, and making any tweaks that we need to in case it won't. Working on screen printing. I also did just pick up a sublimation partner. I really prefer the sublimation prints because it actually dyes the fabric material rather than just printing on top of it. So I think it's a really cool thing to kind of look at, and you can only do it on polyester, so it tends to be nicer quality stuff too. But the other thing that I'm working on are a couple products that I'm going to start really hitting hard on are aluminum. They're automotive related, but are aluminum show boards or real estate signs as well. They're going to be from the same vendor partner. But then also I'm working on creating some magnetic license plate covers too. I've had a few actually photographer buddies of mine reach out that do automotive photography that are like, hey, prices are going up on stuff for sure. They go, we need to find a better option than these $80, $90 magnetic plates with our logo on them to cover up a state license plate and a photo shoot. I'm like, okay, well, we could probably try to figure that out. So that's what got me kind of looking into those. And then we had our first show of the season last year. I had mine and a buddy's prototype, if you will, on our trucks for the show. And I had 100 people probably ask me about them, where I got them, how I got them, that kind of stuff, which is hilarious to me because it's literally a license plate that's printed with magnets on the back to cover up your state plate. But kind of stuff like that I'm trying to work into. I also really want to work on a happy planner type paper planner for people to order that is actually for you to write in your content schedule. So if you don't want somebody to do it for you digitally, is actually having something. I'm a huge planner junkie. I love my stickers, I love my highlighters, but I really have looked into putting together a paper yearly version of like a happy planner type style for you to write in your content and keep organized on that with pen and paper rather than digitally, which I think will be super fun.
I have another question too. So you're like a brand new business owner. I feel like you're doing a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you does that feel challenging for you? Like if it does, then what would be your ideal way to have your business organized? Like what would be the main focus of it, and what would it look like?
Yeah. So when I started MafiaDesigns, I started on the side. It was just a side hustle. But I was doing photography and graphic design services. When I went full time with it a couple months ago, my main focus is the social media and the marketing coaching, the management, that kind of stuff. I don't push the logo design or the promotional design or anything like that very heavily because it does take a lot of time from posting and stuff like that for clients. But I kind of go with whatever people ask. So Most of the logos I've done have been for realtors, like new realtors that don't have a logo or anything set up yet. Business cards are a big one that I do for that, but I try to focus solely on the social media management stuff. The other stuff is kind of when people see it or ask about it, we kind of go with it from there. Which is kind of why I want to do that online store kind of style, because then it kind of doesn't drive itself, but I can have it on there and just push people through it via my social media management website, and then it's there for you to check out if you want to.
Good job. Oh, go ahead.
I'll tell you an idea if you're not doing this, you should look into, and the idea is to basically create an easy button to marketing to a past database. And so for an established business, if you're trying to get somebody that's already established, they probably have a pretty good sized past database of clients. If you could, the first thing I would do is see if you can build out and brand a program designed specifically towards past database marketing.
Yeah.
And make it easy so that all the business owner has to do is basically get you the list. And then from there, if you could take that list, maybe you build some, targeted Facebook audiences and Instagram audiences and things, and then build out some automated email campaigns and stuff, because it's exhausting to us to have to figure out a CRM and schedule the emails, create the list, and do all the things. So if you branded that would be entry, like it's super low hanging fruit, where that business owner is gonna see immediate value from you. And then it's just such an easy way to get your foot in the door there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other one that I would look at if you're getting into the world of realtors is that new realtors have no past database. But what they have is a cell phone that's got 500 or 600 contacts in their cell phone. There's a free app called Covey Export, C-O-V-V-E Export, that will export every single contact in your phone into a CSV file. And so teaching a realtor how to do that, and then creating targeted marketing based on the database that they have in their phone to build their business, it's just such low hanging fruit, it would be so easy for you to do, but nobody's doing it.
Right.
And so if you can figure out a way to brand it so that whatever you call it, make it be an easy button for a business owner, people will see tremendous value in you, because wow, look at this, I got 5 deals last month from marketing that you did.
Yeah.
In reality, it's not hard. These are people that have already done business with us, they trust us anyway.
Right.
It's the easiest referral source to get. So if you double down on that, that would be really interesting. I don't see anybody else in the space doing that.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I hadn't thought about something like that, so I've definitely look into that for sure. That's awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you.